And we're live.
Good evening. I'm alive. I don't know if he's alive.
I'm half dead. So, hi everyone again, and welcome to the show. Tonight we're going to be talking about curses and how to remove curses and things like that. So, if you've got any questions about that later on, please share them with us. But of course, we're going to say hello to everybody first as we begin the show. Hello from Kit. Hi there, Kit, again from Chicago. Thank you for your questions you put on the Patreon page, by the way. Lots of them there. I can't answer them all because you write a lot, but it's always useful. I can always bring those in future episodes on the Patreon Zoom. So thanks for that. Millie from Bali Vedic Astrology.
Nice to see you again.
And another one of our our patrons. And I noticed people have been asking about Millie's astrology in the other video. So she's put her email there if anybody wants astrology from Millie, Vedic astrology.
Nana. Please. Hi, Nana, from Totton, Hampshire. Hi, Nana. Agility bits from Cornwall.
Pat,
lovely.
Another one that was on our video yesterday.
Wow. Very spiritual. Hi from Germany.
Hi there, very spiritual.
Hi, spiritual. Catherine E. Evans. Hello from Southsea.
Hi there. Thanks for joining us. All those new people coming, don't forget you can also type in and say a hello to us. Chandi saying namaste from New Delhi, namaste. India. Namaste. All those horrible things in India, friends we've heard talked about over there. Terrible things.
Yeah, we're thinking of you all.
Yeah. Kevin, hi from Norfolk.
Julie X, hello from Suffolk.
I was looking at our stats. Most people come in from America and UK.
Hi from Wareham, Dorset.
Hi there. And India's quite high up on the list too.
The meditation chamber. Hi, Craig and Jane. Looking forward to another chat.
Yeah, thanks again. And you always ask some nice questions, actually, meditation chamber. So, you know, if you've got any questions about or ideas about psychic protection and curses and things like that. Sylvia.
Hi from Devon, Salvia.
Silver. Sorry. Yeah. I don't read it. I haven't got my glasses on.
Sairam, Craig and Jane. Interesting topic. Sairam to you.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic. It's an unusual one.
Michelle, hello from Italy. Lovely to see you both.
Nice to see you, Michelle.
Bonjour.
Unusual. I'm looking at her profile picture. It's an unusual one, isn't it?
Claire from Florida. You guys look great. We do, don't we, Craig?
We look fantastic. Yeah. And you're not talking about the clothes. You're looking about our looks and how young we look. Cheryl, Craig and Jane, Hamilton Parker, appreciate your videos listening from Massachusetts, USA. Good to see it. Quite a lot of you from Massachusetts, I think. I've noticed that. We get quite a lot of comments from Massachusetts, unless you're giving hundreds of comments, Cheryl.
Josie, glad to see you this week, Jane. Josie from Preston. Yeah, I was so exhausted last week and I had backache, but I'm sure the lovely Craig here coped without me.
Yes. I put my Jane costume on for part of the show.
And it's an improvement, I must say.
Matt, hi there, Matt, again.
Hi, Matt.
From Torquay. Can anyone really put a curse on someone? And if so, how do you remove them? Well, that's going to be the main theme of what we're going to talk about tonight. Are they real? You know, are they psychological? Can we do something about them if they are real? Those type of things. And Jane's got a lot of interesting sort of anecdotes that she's going to tell us from various celebrities.
One just flew back.
That's the bats. Okay. Hi from Germany, says Patricia.
Indigo Night 700700. Great topic, Craig and Jane. Hi from Cloudy Gosport. It's quite nice here, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit cloudy. Not as cloudy as Gosport, of course. We get the best weather here in near Southampton way. Hi, Craig and Jane from Leek, Staffordshire. From Gary.
Hi, Gary. Claire E. Pray for India. We are praying for India, and I think the world should all get together and provide these poor people oxygen cylinders and facilities and that for them, because they really are a poor country. There's some of it's
quite
not that
rich. Poor a country. There's rich and poor, but there's just so many people in India. When a crisis hits there, there's such a big population to deal with. So I do think a lot about India and worry for India. Deborah.
Hello from Milton Keynes. You two look lovely.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. Follow my footsteps, Craig, and you won't go wrong.
Since I've started wearing your clothes, I much better, don't I?
You do. You do. Teresa, hi from South Africa. Good evening, Teresa. Heather Fraser, hello from Scotland. Hello, Heather.
Hi there, Heather. Nice to see you again. Geraldine, hello from Uxbridge. I used to do Uxbridge Spiritualist Church some years ago. One of the first ones I used to do when I first got started.
Jane, new glasses. Good to see you. Hi, Terry. They're not really new. I got about 15 pairs of glasses.
I don't need to fix those other ones then.
Yes, you do, because they match some outfits.
Great topic, Craig and Jane. Hi from Cloudy Gospel. Yes, we've already had the Cloudy Gospel. There's two of you. You've obviously got a doppelganger.
A twin.
Yeah.
Lorraine, hello from, how do you say it?
Ontario, Canada.
Yeah, from Canada. A nice jacket. Jamie Baby Cardo. Hi, Janie Craig from London. Oh, I love that.
Baby Cardo. Yes, interesting
Audrey.
names.
Hello, Craig and Jane. Love to see you from Audrey and Marchwood.
Oh, goodness.
Hello, Audrey.
We know Audrey. Yeah. That's nice to see you, Audrey.
We've been thinking of you. Can you send me your phone number, Audrey? Because I've got it somewhere and I can't find it.
This is a public video, not personal chats.
No, but Audrey won't mind.
Hi, Audrey. We get friends coming on as well as everywhere from all over the world. Heidi saying hi, Craig and Jane. Nice to see you both.
Hi, Heidi.
Matt, did you hear about the tragedies and curses that seem to have happened filming the movie The Omen? The movie was about a child called Damien who was possessed by the devil.
Not our Damien.
No, but there was lots of movie sets, including the set of the Titanic. They reckon was cursed, and the Titanic itself they reckon was cursed as well, because it carried a mummy on the Titanic. That they said that was cursed and why the Titanic went down. I'm not sure the story. It was all over the papers at the time of the sinking of the Titanic.
I thought it hit
it hit an iceberg, but it was carrying Egyptian relics.
Well, talking about that, I got some very interesting facts about Egyptian curses.
Yeah.
Do you want me to begin?
Go on then. Yeah. Have you got
right. This is about famous curses. Now, the first curse is the Kennedys. President Kennedy, as you know, was assassinated. His brother Robert was assassinated, and one of his sons died of a drug overdose, while another died in a skiing accident. JFK Jr. dying in a plane crash in 1999. So were the Kennedys cursed?
Yeah, and there's also all sorts of other weird stories around JFK and the rest of it, because some of the things that happened to Kennedy also corresponded with some of the things that happened to Lincoln. Lots of real strange coincidences, but I won't go into all those. But there was lots of weird stuff around the Kennedy family. And
this is a really great one. Curse of the Iceman. A frozen corpse of an Iceman known as Oz was discovered in the Italian Alps 1991. Rumours quickly was discovered that, I'm reading that back to front, sorry. As this is Craig distracting me.
Perhaps I shouldn't get you the right notes.
Yes, be quiet. Yeah, you're trying to pinch mine. Yeah, let me start again. A frozen corpse of an Iceman known as Oz was discovered in the Italian Alps in 1991. Rumours quickly circulated that this Stone Age man was angry for being moved after 53 centuries undisturbed, and a curse would follow. In fact, 7 scientists involved in the removal and examination of Oz have died, 4 which were involved in car accidents.
Yeah, I think I read about that in Fortean Times. It's an odd story, but these sort of ideas of that there's a curse that carries things.
And also about Egyptian. Now you have to pronounce that, Craig.
Tutankhamun.
Yeah.
King Tutankhamun's curse.
Death. This is what he stated: "Death shall come on swift wings to him who deserves the peace of the king." Yeah,
and Carter, of course, who was the archaeologist there. I don't know. Carter died, and all of them died, didn't they?
Yes, but most
of them that opened the tomb died of things like mosquito bites. And
but I wonder if a mosquito was infected, that was entrapped in there, and then
who knows? It. But there's certainly round things like ancient tombs and things like that. You get this idea of curses. So there's certainly it's in public thought, the idea that you can get curses, that you can be cursed. And also the idea, sometimes when people come to see us for readings and things like that, people often ask about, curses, particularly when you get people from African countries and Indian countries where there's quite a big tradition,
like black magic,
in the idea of black magic and
hexes,
curses.
jinx. But there's another one here. Have you heard of the famous diamond, the Hope diamond curse?
Yes, there was. Yeah,
King Louis was guillotined, and Marie Antoinette on October 16th of the same year. It was stolen from India, and anyone touch it was cursed.
Yeah, the Hope diamond.
Craig, can you just move that diamond and put it out the fridge?
Yeah, so there's all sorts of things in folklore and in our modern folklore, like you've got there, Jane, isn't there, about the idea of curses. But we also, all of us, well, we come across quite a lot of curse type things in our everyday work with people, and a lot of people ask about how you can lift a curse and how you can remove a curse. So we'll tell you a few things about some of those things. But it's I think, what is it? You see, it's like, I think a curse is like a projected thought. It's like evil intent, isn't it? It's like if someone says to you, you'll get what you deserve, it's like a negative.
And then
hits you.
There's some negative people that sell candles to remove curses, and they say that's £3,000.
Yeah, and there's a lot of rip-off merchants associated with it, because all this whole idea of curses, first of all, has a lot of psychology associated
and also
with it too,
it's been passed down from generations to generations from past incarnations.
Yeah, so you get families with fears of it and things, and sometimes if someone curses someone or gives something, well, I mean, we saw that woman in Italy that cursed me for not saying something to her, didn't you? That gypsy, do you remember that Romanian?
Yeah.
But it's a nasty thing to do, because for a lot of people it becomes what the psychologists call a self-fulfilling prophecy. You've been cursed, therefore you start to expect bad luck.
Transference.
Yeah, and you start seeing it everywhere, don't you? So you start getting these, and the mere suggestion of bad luck can sometimes make you start noticing misfortune. So there's a big dangerous psychological
trap. There has been priests
that
have actually cursed people, and they've brought it through, and they really believed it, that they've been cursed.
Yeah, there's a lot of it relies on superstition. So I think a large proportion of what people think of being cursed is psychological. I'm sure most of it is psychological. But I think if you accept that thoughts are things, that thoughts are not just restrained within our minds, but can be sent out, that evil travels and we can project it, I mean, then it can affect a person.
Yeah.
And it requires, I think, really big energy, such as if a person makes a curse to someone on their deathbed, for example, you curse a person as you're dying. At that point, that is the most emotional point you could send something energetically to somebody, really, at the very pinnacle of your life.
Fear.
It creates fear, but it creates a real energy in my book.
You don't have to accept curses, because you can have non-attachment to them. I mean, some people go and use smudging rooms to get rid of bad energies, negative energies.
Yeah, you can. They use sage. And smudge and things. Sometimes people. This is one of the techniques that you can use to remove a negative.
And did you know that people used to actually have rosemary in front of their front doors, because it's meant to keep evil away?
Yeah,
it's a Roman thing.
In the African and voodoo things, because I've written all about this in my wonderful book. I've written a book about it, of course, folks. Psychic Protection, with lovely cover on there by Domenico, of me. That's why it's lovely. But no, like the Africans believe in the voodoo religions, and it's also carried on into hoodoo and things in New Orleans and things, that you can grind up, you said about you put rosemary around, you grind up bricks, you grind up brick dust, and that can become, you can sprinkle brick dust to stop evil spirits crossing.
And salt, you must have a line of salt.
Some people use salt. That's more, I don't think they use it in the African. They might do. Someone might correct me. But you sprinkle to make lines to stop the evil spirits coming across. Or you clean your house with brick dust mixed with water.
Like gold brick dust.
Yeah, make a real bloody mess of everything. You clean your house with this brick dust, and then you sweep it out, and then you throw away the broom when you're finished, because even that's got to be destroyed. And this is kind of like what they would call sympathetic magic. You've gathered it all up and you're throwing it out. So it's like just like I'm throwing out that stuff.
Well,
I'm
it's
throwing
like
out
if
the
somebody made
evil.
a circle of black candles and told you you've got to step in the circle so you don't, you're protected. It's a load of nonsense, because that doesn't work. That's putting fear in, isn't it?
Well, I do believe in rituals, and I do believe in magical rituals, because all the things I discovered in India and things like that, I felt were really important. That you can change the course of your karma. So if there's been something negative following you, like, for example, people believe sometimes that families can be cursed, like the Kennedys you talked about there.
Yes, they were cursed.
That it can follow down a family line, and even generations before will
And
carry
everybody
it.
that's in contact with them, there was something that happened. Marilyn Monroe, for a start, was involved with John Kennedy.
Yeah. And they had bad luck. There's lots of bad luck associated with them. Families, I think, money too, in family, money can carry bad energy. People that fight for the money when someone dies, for example, and all those dreadful, greedy things at the end of someone's life. That can bring darkness to the very money itself, and an energy can follow the person, but also can follow a family. A lot of the religious type, the Christian sort of born again religious people, talk about, you remember that guy that talked about Conan Doyle's house and all the rest of it. He talked about the clearing the family thing. This is a whole thing where, you remember the deliverance and all that sort of idea. These were sort of the idea that you've got to repent of your sins to break the curse. Now, I don't hold to any of that at all.
Well, there's another thing that Romanies, true Romanies, when somebody dies, they burn the actual wagons, don't they? So nobody can.
Yeah,
it tracks, so it goes.
Well, these are like superstitions that nothing can hold on to them, isn't it? I mean, there's also this idea in the African ideas, the voodoo and things, that you can take a bath, right? You take a bath in order to clear the negative energies around you. So this is supposed, I think it's like a rebirth symbol, isn't it? So it's like you have the bath and you're reborn. And they would put a thing called dragon blood bath. It's like a mineral that they grind up and put in the bath, and you put pepper in with it as well, and you put what was that? Cinnamon, pepper, cinnamon into it. And this is supposed to be an energizer.
What about people that grind ivory?
I don't know if they use that for protection at all, but it is used in a lot of medical things in the East. And I've even heard of a bath where you have to chop the heads off chickens and have a bath full of chicken heads. This is one of the
they go into
things.
trance, though, don't they, to call up evil spirits?
Yeah. Another one is to another way of clearing curses is supposed to be, you said about the candles. Well, it's an African belief that you light a candle every Tuesday, I think it is, and you have to light a candle all day Tuesday for 7 weeks. So these have to be special candles. They're like
you made that up.
No, seriously. No, they like these special. Sometimes they have pictures of the Virgin Mary on it or something like that. They've usually got a religious sort of element to it. The hoodoo and all the rest of it and voodoo, which are real fascinating things. They're kind of a mixture of both Catholicism and the old stuff that Granddad encountered when he was in Nigeria in the
but there are such things of black magic, that people can do things to people and it would take a very holy person to remove it.
Yeah, I mean, I had someone come to me. I was doing I don't think they'll mind me mentioning. I won't mention names or anything, but I had a lady and a family actually that had readings with me on the phone, and they were worried about a curse. And they said, what remedies can you suggest, Craig? Because, you can get remedies through astrology and things like that. And I just suggested they went and see Sharavana, and they did. They went to see, because he was in London and they lived in London. And Sharavana seemed to think, nothing wrong with it. Craig's right, but I'll clear it,
Yeah.
And I think when you encounter a very high spiritual energy of a person, the energy is...
it dissolves.
Dissolved. Yeah. I mean, when you imagine if you went, you're worried about a curse, or you tried to put a curse on a holy man, you tried to put a curse on Krishna, or you tried to put a curse on Jesus, or you tried to put a curse on Buddha. Wouldn't, would it?
No.
Just bounce back. Because the power of light is stronger than the power of darkness. Light can penetrate darkness, but darkness cannot penetrate light. So the light will always be more powerful. So as long as we are in ourselves full of pure light energy, we don't let ourselves become embedded with fear, then a curse can't harm us.
What's this coming in there?
Yes, how would you go? How do you protect yourself from jealous people, for example, in workplace, in your business? Thank you.
Well, I think the best thing is, if you've got someone jealous of you, is not to allow them to come into your aura, into your zone, and that, because if you leave yourself open, you're allowing them to put negative energy around you. Don't you think?
Yeah, and jealousy is one of the
evil.
worst, horrible energies of them all, I think, and it's subtle sometimes. And we had a very jealous person as a neighbour once, and they say that to remove the evil eye, as it were, because that's often connected with the idea of jealousy, is the hand of Hamsa. You've probably seen it. It's a hand with an eye in it. We put one up on our door, didn't we? And the person moved within weeks.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. And that person had been absolutely awful to us. Kept it up just in case. But I don't know whether that was us thinking and somehow, but it seemed to work.
And if you notice in Malta, they have the third eye on the boats, and in Turkish symbols to keep the evil spirits away.
Yeah, keep away the evil eye. And that the evil eye is often with it. So, okay, a hand of Hamsa, you could try it. But also, these things are also like, they're attacks upon us. They're like what I call a psychic attack, a psychic vampires, as it were, people that kind of project their negative energy onto you. Because if you're a sensitive person like me and Jane, and someone nasty has a go at you or something, you actually do feel that energy in your whole body. You pick it up. You're
rise above it.
Yeah, but you do, because you're open, and you're an open person. So bang, they can throw that in, and it can take a bit of time to clear it in yourself. So in a way, one of the things I did with somebody, I had one person that was a schizophrenic, and he used to keep coming up and staring at me when I was at work, and I just visualized the mirror in front of me like that, right? And I visualized this mirror and just carried on with the work, and just imagined a mirror, and he'd be staring at me, and I just imagined a mirror. And when I stepped out of the office, he came up to me and said, "How dare you point a mirror at me?" I was only pointing a mirror in my imagination.
It picked up your thoughts telepathically.
And it obviously worked. Yeah. And it proved to me two things. Yeah. One, that he had telepathic power, and also that the act of putting a mirror up did seem to reflect back the negativity.
And I think also wear a piece of amber, because my grandmother used to be a great believer that if you had real amber and wore it, it protects you from evil. And I believe that too.
I think one of the strongest, powerful mantras you can use is the Hanuman mantra, right? This is the monkey god of India, right? And the Indians use this quite a lot as a protective mantra. Now, Hanuman was the monkey god. He protected Rama, and Rama and went to rescue Sita, which you read about in the Ramayana. And they even say that reading the stories of the Ramayana, including particularly chapter 5, this is said this in the Nadis, is in itself a remedy as a protective act for any form of curse. So read chapter 5 of the Ramayana. And I remember do you remember one of my Nadi remedies is I had to feed black crows.
Oh, they certainly come in the garden.
And we get them all the time.
We feed them every day.
Because they represent Saturn, black crows in India.
Every day.
And you feed them, but you have to go ram, 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 like Rama, ram, ram. And that in itself is another protective tip for you. So just a thought, So if you read Valmuki's book about called the Ramayana, Indians are very familiar with it. But it's a great story too. Lots of different translations of it. Do you want me to read it?
Yes, why not?
I've been talking. Helen says, I got cursed by a gypsy king because I wouldn't go to bed with him. I had the same problem. I was close friend with his mum and family. So he was like a brother figure. Can you help me, please? Actually, that sounds quite a bit nasty, doesn't it?
You just don't go to bed with him. That's it, isn't it? That's really trying to have control over a person.
It is indeed.
And trying to manipulate them and that. And the best thing I would do with somebody like that is tell his mother.
And tell you the truth, what's, you're thinking that, oh, it's a gypsy curse,
they
therefore it's
don't
bad.
have
They got
powers.
no special
They don't have
powers. Gypsies don't have any special powers other than anybody else. The gypsies probably came from India originally, they think, and then migrated into Romania and things like that. It's not quite sure of their roots. They've probably done genetic tests on it, but they were using people's superstitions because people see gypsies as something strange. They used to see them as,
cross my hand,
they were a bit scared of them, and they monopolized it, didn't they? So I think anybody that says because they're a gypsy they're psychic is nonsense. Because they're a gypsy they got special powers to curse you is also nonsense. They're interested in the topic.
Some of the gypsies won't go near me because they're frightened of me.
Yeah, well, we've known many gypsies who have been very nice people.
Oh, yes.
And we got on very well with them, and they've been quite respectful for the idea of these type of things. But I don't think, you should take, I think they're playing on your superstitions there, actually. Makes no difference. You wouldn't be cursed. Caroline Hunter, I'm finally a patron. Oh, well done. Leave some messages in the patron section because I'm asking for people to leave, ask your questions there. You can always join me on Zoom there as well if you want, if you just joined, Caroline. That's nice. Thank you.
Put my glasses
I'll read it for you then. If you don't. I can't remember if it was a cursed old severed hand or an old skull or both, but I've read tales of these relics bringing torment and bad luck to people who move them until they're put back in place.
Well, actually, we went to a place once in Italy and they had all these priest fingers with rings still on a jar. Do you remember?
Oh, right. Yeah. There was a lot of weird stuff in Italy, isn't there? The Catholics almost get into this as well, don't they?
Yeah, and they actually had the signet
I know
rings
that
on.
I remember reading in the Golden Bough about stories how they used to take take the hands and take the fingers of children and used to make it into tallow and then make it into candles. So candles made from the tallow of dead babies, right, was used, and they used to think that it would make you invisible. Thieves used to use it for robberies, and it was a very common type of thing in those times, in medieval times. Some really weird stuff.
Coffee. The medallion of Saint Benedict is known to ward off evil. Well, there's a famous priest, isn't there, a healing priest in Italy, Father Pio?
Yeah, Father Pio, isn't it?
Padre
Pio. Padre Pio?
Yeah, that's right. And he's got healing. So I think, anything associated to him. And if you've got really saints and they're protecting you, it's a good thing to have.
It doesn't matter what background you come from. You have to choose the symbolism and the what suits you most. No one is better than another. I've mentioned Indian ideas and Catholic ideas. I mean, yeah, it's fine if that's what you feel. And any holy thing, anything that has a holy symbolism to it, can help you. For example, in India, you would use a yantra, which is like it's like the one made out of all the triangles and things. It's incredible mathematics behind it too. But these are often used as a protective talisman. And also in the West, we get protective talismans, such as the ones from Rome and Greece and things like ancient Greece.
That's people wear St. Christopher for travel.
And St. Christopher is the same tradition following forward as another protects you during travel. Yeah. Or in India, for example, you would chant to Ganesh as a protection for travel, as a remover of obstacles. And all the mythologies, all the religions, all the belief systems have these things. So I think it's not about the object ultimately, it's about our mind as sending out a protective thought, I think. Does petrified wood have any special powers? I have a piece a friend gave me when I was 10. His father was a geologist.
It's probably retained all the energy and vibration in that wood.
We had a huge piece of petrified wood we found.
What about that spear shape?
I've got some old relics from Stone Age things, but I think these things do kind of hold a bit of an energy.
It's got the vibration in it.
I suppose they got the energy of life to them, haven't they?
Yeah, life
really?
force.
So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if there's any traditions about the idea of petrified wood. But again, I suppose in a way these things are triggers for your own spiritual powers. The power does not lie in the talisman. The talisman is really like a catalyst that sets off your own protective energy. And what are we protecting ourselves from? We're basically protecting ourselves mainly from projected negative thoughts from other people, and there's different ways we can do that. We can use a symbol of some sort, and that can help us, or we can use whatever you like that is right, feels right to you. But ultimately, we're protecting ourselves by protecting with our aura, aren't we? We're protecting negative energy coming through into our body and making us ill and making us feel bad. And we are not. If we allow ourselves to be the victims, as you mentioned, didn't you? So we don't let it in, then we become the victim and we make it worse on ourselves.
You don't allow negative people in your life. You just
you want to keep negative vibes out of your life as much as possible.
Be with beautiful people, lovely people that love you.
I think it's always good to avoid negative people if possible. I mean, if you can, it's difficult. You might be working with someone that's negative. You might have someone living next door to you that's negative. You might be forced into negative situations. But wherever possible, try not to mix with negative people, and that might mean where you socialize and things like that, So Lita is saying Jamaica has something called obia, which no doubt has African roots. In the practice, people truly believe others can curse them. Yeah, I know. And I think you can curse a person. I think you can project an energy, and that energy can haunt someone and it can follow someone. But if we feed it energy ourselves through fear, you see, a lot of the time for a curse to work, it normally requires the person to know that they've been cursed. That's why
it's acceptance, isn't it?
That's why when you curse someone, you will give them something frightening. You will spit at them or something. You spit in a person's
I'll give you a tea towel.
But the person cursing would spit in their face and say something. Okay, so that person knows now that I've been cursed. Now, therefore, the whole psychology of that starts to get involved. But you can put a curse on someone that doesn't know they're being cursed, But you can also do the opposite. You can send healing,
Love.
So if you all, for example, send me and Jane some fantastic, beautiful thoughts about us getting our spiritual center, because we had a bit of a letdown today on it, actually, from somewhere we were hoping to get set off for this week, but it's falling flat. But don't matter, a new thing will come along. So have now, all of you, a really beautiful, powerful thought of us achieving that spiritual center that we can all become part of, and see yourself there. That is a huge energy. All the people watching now, it's a huge energy, and that's how we should work with other things too. We must think in terms of creating the positive energy, because that will ultimately counteract the fear-based curses and things like that frighten so many people. I'll read it for you, shall I?
Yeah.
There's an old story that the Greek philosopher Plotinus had a curse placed upon him, but the philosopher had the protection of the god Apollo, who simply sent the curse back to its sender.
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah, and this is the mirror idea as well, because I mean, Apollo is like the god of light, the god of the sun, isn't it? So that would be like light returning the negative. So I think you don't want to be, if you're watching this and you've got serious worries about curses and things, I think the first thing to do is to push fear out of your life.
Go.
Push the fear of it away, because light is always stronger than dark. Your personal light is always stronger. And I think if you mix with light people with good light energy, and particularly if you can mix with highly evolved spiritual people, I think it will help to clear it from your life anyway, and not to feed it, not to fear it. Like I said, I've given you some tips there about the mantras, like the Hanuman mantra you can go and listen to if that was your way. Or you can go see holy men and things like that, And the Gayatri mantra is another good one in the Indian system that I would always suggest. And I think having good feelings, good heart, having a good energy in yourself will be all the protection you really need.
Be strong. The more you're stronger, more things build up.
I mean, we've had people try to throw negative stuff at us, and you get through it and you get by it and you clear it, And I think the most of the nastiness comes from people not from strangers doing curses that are going to hold your family back. They come from people that are close to you. And I think if people do, you have to put the evil, nasty energy behind something to make a curse. That's just why people use ritual and magic to sort of do it. But it's not the rituals, it's the thoughts, and that's what we're protecting ourselves against. Shall I read it for you?
Yes.
Hello, Craig and Jane. Can you get a negative energy from various characters on YouTube, even if they are interesting, and say they have reformed? Empathy.
Why would they need to reform?
Well,
they're just being nasty, aren't they?
Get negative energy from various characters.
I think you have to be very careful in social media, don't you?
I think everything can project thoughts through it, really, can't it? I mean, even bad images can bring bad feelings and energies and thoughts. If you constantly watch nasty stuff, or you wear black all the time, or you're kind of full of dark thoughts, you're going to attract into your life all bad things, not maybe immediately, but through your life.
It attracts depression
and
things.
And it attracts depression in yourself, doesn't it?
It's like I said to Craig, if a woman cooks food with love, then it's tasty. But if somebody slaps it down, that'll do him tonight, it don't taste very good.
No, and it's poisonous energy-wise.
Yeah.
Because and it's the same when you don't know who's serving up your stuff in restaurants. It might have been a really bad day, and you're taking all those vibrations.
Yeah.
So you would use, for example, again, an Indian idea is you use a mantra, Brahma Havira, a sort of mantra, and that would clear the energy of the very food you eat, because everything is vibration.
Yeah.
Everything is vibration.
Life force as well.
Yeah. And how we handle that vibration, we're going to get good vibration and negative vibration. And I was watching the birds fly over.
We have lots of birds, doves and ravens.
They like it here, actually.
Well,
they all nest. We only got a smallish garden, really, but we got nests and we got hundreds and hundreds of birds here coming. I think they kind of like it, and including all the crows.
Peaceful, isn't it?
The Saturns. It's said that Bruce Lee and Brandon Lee died because of an old curse.
Oh, I don't know that.
And they also said he died of an aspirin, didn't he? Or also a punch an unexpected punch to the solar plexus. That's
more like it.
I'm not quite sure, but I know there was all sorts of weird stuff around Bruce Lee's passing. I remember at the time, because he's another one of those heroes that you just can't accept that's died. I mean, like Diana, they can't accept she died, and Marilyn Monroe and all the rest of it. You have these idols, and these are like modern day mythological heroes, and so people find reasons to say that they died
but then
through circumstances that shouldn't have happened.
That could have been karmic, though, couldn't it?
Yeah, it could well have been. But like I said, we can't accept the death of the young like that. Our young heroes, like Diana, will always be forever young. But many people thought that there was always a conspiracy. She shouldn't have died because of this and because of that. It could never have just been a car accident, and so on, because our minds can't accept that sort of thing. And I think it's probably much the same with Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
I would have thought. Would you?
If you say so.
I think so. As we didn't wait for another question to come up. I think everybody's gone home. They just got that Agility Bits dog putting the questions up.
Oh, gosh. Heather. Oh, Heidi. I was married to a Gambian man whose mother was into juju, black magic. Oh, yeah, juju men. When I divorced him, I got bitten by a snake on my foot, chakra, the base of my spine. I got toxic shock syndrome, which was most of week, nearly died, and all my skin peeled off like a snake as I recovered from my new life. You're right, light always conquers the dark. Yeah?
Oh, an interesting story, Heidi. I mean, did they? I mean, I know they do. People, particularly from that area, Gambia. I mean, my granddad was a surveyor in Nigeria, and this is going back at the time of the First World War. He was too young to put him on the trenches, so they sent him off in the Ordnance Corps to make maps, because he signed up at 14. He was underage, so they sent him off to Africa, and he was out alone on the horse and things like that. And he used to tell me amazing stories. This is why I got my interest in travel, and he said that he used to every now and again come across the voodoo markings, and all the people carrying the gear and everything would not pass that mark. They would be terrified of the grip of voodoo, or whatever it was. I don't think they called it that in Africa, but this is the Yoruba type people. And it was such a grip. And if he would pass through it and say, "No, I'm not worried," They thought he was a god. He would go up on hills to do the surveying because he had to put his trig points up there. And they would think of an absolute god because he would go up on the mountains that no man dare tread on, So I think, so definitely Gambier's the same.
Yeah,
same
but
type of
Heidi's
thinking.
come through darkness into the light, and she's got the love with her, a man in her life that loves her now, and also on a spiritual pathway, but enlightenment. But snakes are meant to be sacred in some countries, snakes.
Yeah.
And the rebirth in that, but that is nastiness.
Yeah, it is. And maybe someone did something there to you, Heidi. It wouldn't surprise me. There was something going on in the background.
She's got love around her now.
And snakes are a very interesting symbol, actually, on so many levels. It's both the symbol of rebirth because it sheds its skin, and it's also a symbol of evil as well.
Is one more prone to getting cursed or have negative energy towards them if they are spiritually open? Well, spiritual people are tested time and time again, and we do get a lot of negative energy. But it's what I would call, people try to transfer their thoughts of negative energy. You just don't accept them.
I see what you mean, though, Diana. I think you're saying there, because like I said earlier, didn't I, that Jane and I are quite open people. And if someone, particularly when we've been doing sort of working on a spiritualist platform, for example, you've just done a demonstration of mediumship, you step down, and if the crowd sort of all comes to you, I'd love to talk to you.
Attack.
And even though those people aren't sending anything negative to you, because they're like, they like what you're doing, you can be going drained so fast. That it's like what we call psychic vampires. They suck all your energy, and they're well-intended people. And a really negative person who really had something against us, for example, might be very hard to handle when you're in that state. So we are more susceptible, but I don't think we're more likely to carry anything. We have to, when we finish working, we kind of close ourselves. You have these visualization techniques. You have to pull the aura back in and bring your protective shell back around you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Otherwise, you do just get too drained. It's like when you sit on the bus and the twitching guy comes and sits next to you.
And you start twitching.
Yeah, and you start twitching with them because you start to feel their energy.
Right,
you see?
Deborah, my husband doesn't believe in all these things that we are discussing here now, and sometimes his energy is very negative. If I talk about this kind of stuff, he believes we come from fish. How can I make his energy level positive? Maybe throw some sage over him? Or maybe get a new husband, Deborah. Have you thought of that?
Well, we do come from fish because our bodies come from fish ultimately because we evolved. I'm not going to say there's no such thing as evolution. Evolution definitely happened. So we were all at some point came from the sea because life came from the sea originally. So, obviously that's nothing wrong with that. But I always say that, you've got to look a bit at the bigger picture because, yes, the material world we can explain with science, but there's something more than that. And I think any person that's had, or most people have had, some form of extraordinary experience that you can't explain. Even the most thick-skinned people have usually had something like a coincidence or like a sense of the dead or a telepathic feeling. Everybody's had something somewhere. He certainly would probably, with his being thick-skinned like that, he's probably perfectly all right. My dad was a bit like that. He could produce an energy that knock you flat, and yet he was not a great believer, as it were, in
not until he got older. He changed his mind
when he started.
But then if somebody, it's always good to question everything anyway and have an open mind, whatever you believe in.
Yes, it is. I think you miss out, I think, if you close your mind to the rest of the
Claire,
things.
I am Jewish, and every time someone has wished me ill, I ask God to take care of it for me. I don't wish harm, and I found out that bad things have happened to those who have wished me wrong from job loss. Well, the Messiah wouldn't want you to curse anybody or do anything, would he?
Yeah, the Jewish people, of course, within Judaism, you have the Kabbalah, of course. And Kabbalah is absolutely fascinating because there's a lot of protective stuff in the Kabbalah, including Jewish-based talismans and things like that. But basically, Claire, you're saying the right thing here. If someone wishes you well, if you just turn to God, that's fine. That what we call God. What is God? God, because that's always a difficult word, that one, I find. But if you think of you turn to the highest of it, of what we are, the highest of existence, the ultimate expanded huge consciousness of that we could perhaps call God or whatever we want to call it. That energy is so high, that energy is such light, that energy is the highest we can achieve. No negative thing can go through it. So, you know, however way we approach it, you know, whatever our belief system, because it's all the same ultimately, you know, whatever we think, that we hit the highest level of our spirituality, if we hit the universe's benign protective energy, it's all here. Everything is here to help us. Everything is here in existence is to help us to awaken. So nothing is here to harm us.
People think they get away with bad things, but eventually karma does catch up with them, because what goes out comes around tenfold.
Yeah, well, karma's there as well. So you start doing negative things.
Look at those two dogs kissing one another.
God, last questions already, folks. Right? So it's gone quickly tonight, it seems. Remember, guys, to share this video. Particularly if you come later on, if you missed us live, share it, and don't forget, if you follow this channel, if you're new and you follow this channel, you'll keep getting updates, and you'll be able to see us. We're always on Fridays. At the moment, we're always on Fridays at 7 o'clock. That's 7 o'clock UK time. So you can always find us. You can find us on Facebook as well. You can post questions to us as well in the comments, and we do read them. We can't respond to everybody all the time, but we do read them, and we often pick them up as themes and sometimes answer them in these videos and in other ones. And also, if you become a patron, of course, you can come and join us on Patreon. It helps us with this, what we're trying to do to get this spiritual center, you know, and it helps us to make good quality videos. It helps us creatively. And it also, you will be able to join the patrons and be able to ask questions and join even the Zoom meetings that I have there, and get other little bits of content that I put up on the Patreon site as well. And of course, you can go to psychics.co.uk, where you can buy the wonderful Psychic Protection book. There we are. Hold it as close as I can, with a lovely cover by Domenico. And that'll tell you a lot more about all the things we've been talking about today in a lot more detail. And yeah, I think you'd enjoy that.
Do you want to tell people we've got a show Tuesday?
Oh, yeah, of course. We've got the show of theatre. Yeah, remember the theatre?
Yeah. See, I'm psychic. Yeah, yeah. We're actually got a demonstration of mediumship at the Concord Club, Eastleigh, that's in Hampshire, on Tuesday. Starting time is 7:30, and you'll have the opportunity to meet us, an opportunity to chat to us, and we're really looking forward to it, aren't we, Craig?
Yeah, so this is one of the first things as we come out of this.
And say the reason what it's for.
And again, the money, all the profits we make from it. Jane and I, with our public work, we're not taking anything for ourselves. All the profits go to the foundation, which helps with the centre, but also we're doing, as you've seen from our stuff there, we do an awful lot of charitable work as well. So, you know, it's not for us.
And it will be filmed.
Yeah, well, hopefully. We hope to get it all filmed, because Domenico's going to film it in the background for us. So you'll be able to watch it. And if you want to give a donation, go to the GoFundMe link that Domenico's just put up on screen now, which is in the description below if you're on YouTube. And you'll also find it on the Facebook description too. And then you can help us with what we're trying to do, you know? So that's it. So last questions, I guess. I think we've got some last questions. Have we, Domenico?
Aha. John, do you read it?
Oh, John here is saying, do you think there is anything in the so-called curse of the pharaohs in Egypt? For example, when people disturb their tombs like Tutankhamun.
Oh, we've just done that.
Yeah, we did talk about that, but there was, because Carter, all of his team, there was so much going on there. The papers at the time made real...
Wasn't it in Lord
Carnarvon?
Yeah.
The papers at the time made such a big fuss about it all that a lot of it might have got blown out of proportion. So you really kind of have to read it, and you know, you could be swayed either way with the stories. But I think there are curses on things. I think you can put a curse on an object, you know. Yeah, like the Hope Diamond you talked about there, didn't you?
Hide it quick.
I moved to my new address on Monday. How can I start living there with a blessing? Well, I would say, any thoughts?
Well, I'd do a mantra.
Yeah, that's the first thing I'd do.
I would do a blessing, and I'd say, thank you for letting me come to this house and fill this house with love. kind people and people that are good people that come over the threshold to my door. And I love you, house, so you love me too.
Yeah, and maybe do something that will suit you. I mean, however you think. But I mean, I always think
Nice
it's
feeling.
quite nice to put some candles around, perhaps. Maybe
Music.
do a little bit of music and do some mantras or whatever.
Flowers, always lovely to have.
Incense is nice. They
Fresh
always
flowers.
say maybe if it's a clear, I mean, they talk about smudge, but I think that's a bit heavy duty. It kind of suffocates you. I would use something like the dragon blood joss sticks. You could use those because they're clear. They're a cleansing one. And also sandalwood is also supposed to be one of the highest.
Jasmine's nice.
Now, jasmine's always
It's God's
associated with
flowers.
Sai Baba, isn't
And
it,
God's
as well?
flower,
So, and
jasmines.
flowers and things like that.
Fresh flowers.
And energetic things, you know, and obviously when you clean a place and you paint a place and you make it your own, that also changes the vibrations and clears away all the energies from before. And also maybe even have, well, if we can, because we can't let people around there, but it's quite nice to have groups of people around, I think, at first, to get the place feeling like it's yours and to get the energy to it. So Apple is saying, I worked for a difficult, vengeful person for years, and it drained me. I put round objects on my desk as protection, but did not help much.
You need Craig sitting on your desk.
Yeah, I know what you can mean, though. I mean, so often people, when they have readings with us, their lives can be destroyed. And it's often just by one person.
Yes,
that can have a lovely... I know some people who's in absolute despair with the bullying that they get, which can be bullying, it takes a very subtle form.
I think you need a rose quartz crystal.
You can try all those things. I think at the end of the day, I think you have to also think, don't let this person get to me. You know, I know it can be draining, but you really have to try to kind of rise above it in some ways. It's very hard, but the more you let them bug you, and they're going to keep trying to bug you, aren't they? They're always going to try to keep worming their way in. The more the harder it gets. I think sometimes if you carry a mantra in your mind, and I feel I want to say to you, I want to do Om Namah Shivaya, and I want to say, keep repeating that in your mind. That's a very, very positive mantra. And it's a destructive mantra in a way, because Shiva is also the destroyer. So in a way, I would say use Om Namah Shivaya. You don't have to say it, keep it in your mind, and throw the evil into throw it into the mantra, and let it in your thoughts dissolve. And I think you'll see a change in that person.
And I think you should wear some beads, which is like prayer beads, which contain 108. And then just keep turning them around like that. And it's like Craig says, do a mantra like that.
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
Good morning. People are saying goodbye to us now.
Oh, good morning. And it's goodbye from us soon.
Yeah, hi, Neil. Yeah, I obviously overseas, I should think. So we're going to be saying goodbye to you now, folks. So Om Sai Ram, Craig and Jane from New York. From Mary, thank you very much, Mary, for joining us. Om Sai Ram, of course, what people that we've got quite a few people from Sai Baba followers following us as well. Ingleborg, do not allow curses come your way. Be strong. Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
I mean, you have to be strong in this life. You can't be a walkover. It doesn't matter how spiritual you are, how lovely you are, how kind. Be strong.
Yeah, they can't hurt you.
Be a woman, but think like a man.
Or be a man and think like a woman. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Greg and Jane.
Up to you.
Thank you, Lorraine, for coming, and thank you for joining us, folks. Don't forget, you can always follow this channel if you're new. And Ganesh mantra and Hanuman mantra also help. Also, that's what I did say about that.
Yeah,
the Ganesh mantra. I didn't say about the Ganesha mantra. That's very true, because Ganesh removes the, obstacles. Om Gam Gamapate Namaha.
Right, Debbie.
Deborah saying, thank you, Craig and Jane. We'll share this video on my website. Oh, thank you for sharing.
That's really kind.
And sending love and light, happiness to you both. Thank you, Deborah. That's kind of you.
Love from the heart to you, Deborah.
Yeah, the Ganesh mantra is a good one to do.
Yeah.
Have a great weekend, says Fleming. We will.
We'll try.
we're gonna have to plan for the theatre.
Yeah.
Great chat. One of my favourite topics. Oh, great. Okay, Millie. Thank you. Yeah, it is an interesting one. I expect a lot we could have said about astrology. Actually, we didn't say about that. Neil saying, thank you, Craig and Jane. It's 4:35 here in Melbourne, in Australia. Oh, Bennett. God, that's a world away. I couldn't get up at that time.
You could even astral travel that time, could you, Craig?
So nicely dressed, both of you. Have a great day.
You.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for joining us again. Have a lovely weekend, says Alison. Lots of love and hugs from me.
And a big hugs back to you, Alison.
Thanks for coming. And great sessions. Thank you for your questions, Indigo, tonight. See you next time.
Yes,
indeed.
We will.
Great. Yes.
Agility.
Agility Bits, that's Pat saying, thank you, Craig and Jane, for an interesting discussion. I hope you find your spiritual centre soon. Yeah, we're working on it. We've got we've got enough funds, but we just got to get the right. It's only a rented thing we're doing. So send your positive thoughts, guys. They do work. Thoughts are things. Much appreciation for this, says Mary.
Oh, that's nice.
Thank you. Great show, guys. On to next week.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know what we're going to do next week.
Any suggestions?
We could always put suggestions in the comments. I thought I might do one on Harry and Meghan again, but Harry in particular, he'd be quite interesting to think about. Lisa, thank you both.
Thank you.
And we'd like to get a few guests later on as well.
Jay
Siram, particularly when we get the centre, we can get some guests. Because the Nadi says that we'd have famous guests on this show.
Oh, that's
Meditation Chamber, interesting topic. I enjoyed it as always.
Thank you.
So I suppose we better start now. There's a lot more to say about it. Thank you both so much. We have a meeting tonight, and I was very upset. I have got a lot of ideas before the meeting. Thank you, Siram.
Blessings to you.
Thank you both so much for your advice. In the end, this person left, and now I work for a very nice person. Have a lovely weekend. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that's
good.
Nice,
good. What a difference. You can appreciate it too.
It's awful, isn't it?
Yeah, horrible. Like I've had worked with horrible people in the past. Thank you, Craig and Jane, says Helen, for your reply to my problem. H in East Belfast, Northern Ireland.
Helen.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Such a nice couple. Yes, we are.
I was just going to say that. You pinched it.
Thank you for sharing. That's our pleasure. Yeah. Okay. I think we're coming to the end now. All right. We're going to say goodbye to you now, folks. So thanks for joining us again. Come again next week. And
you'll be truly blessed by us, not cursed.
Yeah. And we'll see you soon. Okay.
Bye.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Would you like to know more about the paranormal world? Craig Hamilton Parker's books are now available on Amazon. Explore the future. Discover what happens after death. Unlock the secrets of your dreams. Learn to develop your own psychic skills.